Hi guys, it's Jake here from Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at a knife from Cold Steel. Haven't done very many Cold Steel knives on this channel. This is the Tuff Light. Came out in 2015, so it's about 2 years old. So most of you guys have probably seen this knife around. You might have seen reviews on it, but there's always new guys joining the community. And since this knife was given to me by a viewer, and it's in brand new condition, any knife that a viewer sends me that's in good new condition, so I can do a fair review the way the manufacturer made their knife. Unfortunately, I can't do reviews of knives that are in, used condition really, because I can't really tell, was that failure part of the use, or was that failure in it, a manufacturing thing, or what is it? So unfortunately, if you're going to be sending me some stuff, please send me stuff that's in good condition if you want me to review it. If you don't care if I review it or not, and you just want to give me a gift, I don't care what condition it's in. I'm thankful for any gift. I'm not asking you for any. I'm just telling you I'll be thankful for any gift. But if you want me to review it, it needs to be in pretty close to new condition. And this guy is nice blade. Wharncliffe style blade, half and half sneak up choil at the front here, so somebody with a big hand like I have can use this little knife. I'm actually looking forward to getting my hands on a mini Tuff Light eventually. So this is what we've got to review today, and if you're interested at all in the Tuff Light, stick around for the review. So how many of you guys have one of these Tuff Lights? Let me know in the comments below what you think of your Tuff Light, because I'm quite interested to find out how much you actually use your Tuff Light. It looks to me, and in my use of it for the last couple of weeks, I was given this knife about 4 weeks ago now, and I've used it a fair bit during that time, and I'm wondering how much you use this knife, if you actually carry it and use it and stuff, or if it's just something that you sort of have and it just sort of has gone to the wayside or not. Is it a gimmick, or is it a very useful, good quality tool? That's what I'm asking. Those of you who don't have one, hey, your comments are all welcome as well. And what you think of this review, especially this knife, are very welcome in the comments. Let's start talking about all the different details about this knife. Cold Steel claims that the AUS-8A steel is a Japanese AUS-8 steel, and the knife is made in Taiwan. You've got Taiwan listed on the blade right there. And, so Cold Steel name, Taiwan AUS-8A. And what we have here is a dramatic Wharncliffe flat blade, nice little sharpener's choil. You've got a sneak up finger choil right there, I call them half and half because it's half on the blade and half on the handle. Another choil for the next finger, and your last two fingers back here. Those of you who aren't familiar with me, you might not know, my hands are the size that's exactly between large and extra large in North American sizes. That's between 9 and 10 in European sizes. So it fits my hand very well. If you've got a hand that's way into the extra large range, this knife will still be a little bit small for you, but I think you're still going to find it comfortable enough. These choils are large enough that most fat fingers are going to, at least have some kind of comfort with it, because it's a really good little knife to do all your basic EDC tasks. I mean, for an EDC knife, this thing hits the spot. There's almost nothing. Can I think of anything? No, I can't think of a single task that this knife couldn't deal with that I faced during the time that I was carrying it, which, just like everybody else, it's predominantly package opening. Yeah, how glamorous is that? But, there's always some other kind of tasks where you need to cut something for somebody or do something. I haven't had to rescue anybody. For that, this knife in the serrated versions, I think, is a really good choice to keep in a glove box. Serrated blades are going to cut through seatbelts much more efficiently than even a flat blade like this, a plain blade. And a plain blade's going to do a good job to start with too. So a serrated blade is a good choice to have for like an emergency kind of use. My brother volunteers as, he lives in a very rural spot, and he volunteers for an emergency services in an ambulance. And the serrated version of this would be a good gift for him. I might be doing that. Who knows? I hope he's not watching this video. He doesn't usually watch my videos. Let's talk about the rest of the specs. We've got a Griv-ex handle. That's the trademark name of this handle. Sort of like a Grivory kind of style plastic that this is. It's a very tough plastic. You can see from this close-up the texture of it. It actually provides a great amount of grip in the hand. And you've got that extra dented area or scooped out area here, divot kind of thing you might want to call it. And that really helps as well when you go to grab it. The fat of this part of your hand, well, it's not really that fat, but you know, the palm side of your knuckles just sits right in that spot very well, at least for my hands, and it adds a whole lot of extra grip. We've got a pocket clip that's tip down only, but you've got your choice of right and left. And the pocket clip sits in the pocket very well. If you want to carry this knife in your pocket, this is what it looks like. Slides in fairly well. It's a little bit trickier for me to slide it in right there now because, you know, holding stuff with a sore finger really hurts. And so, but that's what it looks like when it's in the pocket. Not bad. Doesn't show off too much. You've got about a centimeter sticking out. You know, that's a little less, about a third of an inch showing. And then you've got this steel pocket clip. I've bought a system to do some stone washing recently. And one thing I'm going to do is things like this pocket clip, I'm going to stone wash them just so that they're less reflective. And that helps them, you know, I think it'll look good if I do that. And if it looks good after I've done that, I'm considering stone washing the blade as well. We've got a huge lanyard hole. Almost any kind of lanyard you can imagine will fit in there. You can see my hand through there, how large that is. We've got the cold steel Trident backlock system, which is a very strong backlock. If you want to look up the Trident backlock, and you'll see videos, and they've done tests, and it's a very strong backlock. Cold Steel claims that it's the strongest lock for any folding knife in the world. I can't make an argument against that. I didn't mention about the Rockwell hardness of the steel. Cold Steel doesn't tell us either, but AUS-8A hardens between 57 and 59, so it's usually 58-ish that the hardness is that it comes to. We've got a hollow grind, and that nice point there slices like crazy when you need to get something, you know, detailed. You can sneak up on this knife and hold it like this for really detailed work. I put my fingers around it like that, and you can do some really good detailed work with it that way. And when you hold it like this, you can do some work that requires a lot of strength and push on the blade. Very good. No thumb stud. We've got this sort of racetrack style lanyard hole, not lanyard hole. We've got that racetrack style thumb deployment hole, which is basically the same style hole as the lanyard hole is. Yeah. So it's a two-hand knife when you go to close it. It's just hard to close it with one hand. I can close it with one hand. Easy to open with one hand. There are no washers in this knife. It's basically just the blade sitting next to the Griv-ex, and you use the pivot hole adjustment here to determine how tight you want to squeeze that. And it slides over each other fairly well, and it seems to take, you know, the pressure. And the lockup, the lineup for the lockup is quite good. It's not quite perfect, but very close. And that's good. There's no blade play, side to side, up and down, nothing like that at all. Very good. Let's talk about the dimensions. Cold Steel says this thing has a 2.5-inch blade. And yes, it's 2.5 inches if you measure from the tip of the blade to this spot right here. You know, that's the spot you got to measure to. But if you measure the cutting edge from the end of the sharpener's choil to the tip of the blade, it's 5 centimeters or 2 inches. The blade thickness, they claim it's 2.75 millimeters thick. And it's 2.95 on this particular knife. So it's a little bit thicker. That's 0.116 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is 0.48 millimeters. so less than half a millimeter, which is 0.019 inches. And anytime you get less than half a millimeter, you've got a very fine cutting edge right there indeed. And that's what makes this thing, that's part of what makes this thing such a great EDC knife. It's a nice thin edge, but they've done a really good, strong job of it. The grind is consistent all the way along, which is not that hard to do when you've got a completely flat edge. And it's quite sharp indeed. The handle length is 9.5 centimeters, which is 3 3/4 inches. The handle thickness is 2 1/4 centimeters, which is just under half an inch, 0.498. Let's call it half an inch. The total length of the knife when it's open from tip to heel is 15.4 centimeters, which is 6 inches. And the weight of this guy is a mere 72 grams, which is 2.5 ounces. Very, very EDCable. If you want to buy this knife, right now it's very easy to find. It's in so many different stores. The best price I could find was at Amazon at $27.61. But I could find it for $27.95 and 99 cents all over the place. That's US prices. So I guess Amazon just tried to be a few cents less. And, maybe you can find a price that's less. I don't think it's going to be that hard. So basically $28 US for this knife. The best price I could find in Canada is $43.99. And that's at Amazon.ca. So that's Canadian dollars. And it's the exact same price at Warriors and Wonders. This knife comes in, I think, 5 different colors. Black, brown, OD green, red, and a nice blue. And those are the 5 colors that it comes in. The serrated edge version, I think, only comes in a black handle. And the mini Tuff Light comes in other colors as well. More pastel-y, well, sort of bright pastel-y kind of colors. Great knife for the fit and finish. Everything looks good. It's done well. It feels good. It looks good. It handles well. It's a really good fit and finish. What are the other pros and cons that I want to mention? Well, the pros are it comes very sharp. Nice little sharpness choil. I really like that. The ergonomics is very, very good on this knife. It fits in hand very well. The triad lock, it's a strong back lock indeed. And the color choice, I like all those different colors. I kind of like bright primary colors. So that's a good thing. If I was going to buy another one, I'd probably get the blue or, maybe even the brown because it's kind of unique, even though it's not one of the big primary colors. But I like having unique colors and stuff on my knives. What are the cons for this thing? The cons are perceived cons, I think, not actual cons. There's no tip up. I don't think this is a knife where you necessarily want tip up. It's not a defense knife, although, in a defensive situation where you needed to defend your life with a knife, it would work. But it's not that kind of knife. So you don't really need a tip up kind of pocket clip. Although I think they could have relatively easily have made it to have a 4-way pocket clip. It shouldn't have been that hard. But they made it the way they made it. And the other thing is some people will want a better steel in here. And I'm probably in that group. AUS-8A isn't bad, but it's probably the lowest end of the budget steels that I like to go into. I don't like to go into knives that are less than AUS-8. I don't really like 440. AUS-8 is like 440B, which is better than 440 or 440A. So, AUS-8A is, the bottom of my barrel. It's not the bottom of the barrel. It's just the bottom of my barrel that I, am willing to go into. And it's okay. Could be better. A 440C would be better. A D2 would be really good. A D2 steel in this, because that's not that expensive to make. Hopefully they do that. And, or maybe just, go to an AUS-10. It exists. I know it's not that popular, but that's a really good choice. That's a lot like a 440C, AUS-10. There's lots of different choices. I'm not going to go into the other choices, but that's basically what this knife is about. Let's do some cut tests and show you how sharp this puppy is. I got this knife used, so I don't know exactly what it is like from the factory. But I took the microscope to it, and I honestly think, and the guy who gave it to me, he wants to be anonymous, he said he did not sharpen it. And so I believe that the factory edge is in this kind of condition here. I did use it for a while, and then I stropped it once. And look how wonderful that cuts. Just no problem at all. And, you know, a push cut through that kind of paper is just, it demonstrates a very good steel. This is copy paper, printer paper. Not a problem at all. Cuts through that stuff very well. Let's try my 1-inch wide banding that I often demonstrate with. And, you know, it just zips through that very easily, and it'd be able to zip through a seatbelt fairly easily as well. And here's where that tip comes into play. That tip, it works so well to cut with. No problems at all. And, you know, if you needed to deal with some wood, you know, it can really get into there and do a great job. The way the handle shape is, you can do some whittling for a long time without your hand getting tired. So there's so many different things that you can do with this knife and use it for so many different tasks that I really like it, and I carry it quite a lot. It's one of the best gifts that I've received in quite a while. And, you know, thanks to the person who sent that to me again. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, please click on the like, even if you don't like the knife. If the video's done well and you appreciate that, please click on like. Share with somebody who might be looking for a knife like this, or on your social media. Thank you for all the comments that you're going to be putting in there. I appreciate those. And your subscription helps this channel an awful lot. Please remember to click on that bell icon so that you will be notified of every video. And the biggest reason is so YouTube can't unsubscribe you. There's another round of those happening these days. I don't know why they do it, but YouTube tends to unsubscribe you from channels without telling you or anything. It happens to me, and so I've heard it from others that it happens to them too. So if you click on that bell, that stops that from happening. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being a friend of Canadian Cutting Edge. If you want to help support Canadian Cutting Edge, when you want to buy any of the knives that I review, I always keep links in the description below. And if you use my referral links, I get a tiny commission, and that's a way that you can support this channel without it costing you a penny. Don't buy knives just to support me. You know, it'd be cheaper just to send me money if you were going to do that. But if you're going to buy the knives anyways, thank you for considering using my links. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.